Welcome, wrestling fans, and shout out to my new group on Facebook, the Impact Wrestling Group. That's the Impact Wrestling Group. Nobody's going to have more daily news. Already got about 50 or more cool fans, and we're going to be reading some of their comments about what I thought was an awesome Rebellion show later on. We also have an update on Jordynne Grace, Dummy of the Week returns, and more. This is Discuss Impact, available most anywhere you listen to podcasts. I'm JaySin here with my co-host, the Horror King Gary. As always, Gary is finishing up with his latest victim, and he'll be available in a few seconds. I said it was awesome, and I stand by that, but I was definitely swayed by the absolutely incredible look of this show. It was so much better than anything I've seen in years, and Gary, you can get to the specifics of all that since you've been talking about it and wanting it for a long time.
Oh, totally. Going into this pay-per-view on this night, I did notice a change in the setup. Last time we were in this very venue, the Rebel Complex, we had seating that was up on the ramp, and I noticed we removed that this time around, and I noticed that made it like us to be able to, notice towards the back of the venue a little more, which was a very good idea. And like the color scheme going into this pay-per-view looked awesome on TV. I'm a big sucker for red, as is Jay. I know he says he likes red as well. I know some people say it's a tired color, but I really like the red color scheme. Impact and creative and production went into fruition with on this night. So hey, it looked awesome, Jay.
Yeah, totally agree. And I mean, if you could say, well, my grade is going to be too high or whatever because I'm basing it on the look, and I say, screw you, because I've been watching Darkness and whatever for how long, and this was absolutely incredible to look at. And I always say, I watch wrestling as a television show, unlike a lot of other people. So, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't watch a dark television, you know what I mean? Like, it just looks so much fucking better. But, okay, I got to say, personally, some of that coolness was ruined after seeing a human piece of shit sitting in the front row named Eric Go Fund My Dog While I Get Wasted Maloney, my former friend and owner of Discuss PW, but he's not even worth the time of that sentence, so let's just move on. And staying on the topic that Gary was just speaking of, we have a note from our producer Larry, who is very critical of Impact, but not a hater. Usually had good points. I had always in there, but I don't want to give him that much credit. Also, the co-host of a new podcast of mine called Jay and Not So Silent Larry. Should be a link somewhere. So here's what he said about the look. It looks fantastic right now. The lighting is great. They're finally doing it the right way. Spotlights on the ring, not the audience, because it just makes the audience look small unless you're in a multi-level arena. House lights are completely down, and they're actually using the LED screens for some lighting. In my opinion, this is how a professional wrestling, especially pay-per-view, should look. Gary, fair?
Yeah, 100%. I did notice, too, I don't know if Larry noticed that, up in the upper decks, we were able to get a better shot of the upper deck of how many people were in attendance. So kudos to the camera team to get that, those angle shots on the pay-per-view. It was really cool to see. There was actually people up in the, up in the rafters, if you will, of the venue. So that was really cool.
Yeah, he also mentioned he's sorry, there was a little more. I definitely think they're trying to show off that they're in a better venue. They're using the cameras better than I've seen them use since the TNA days. Also, real-time replays, which, yeah, that was awesome. We usually don't get that, right?
No, I can't remember. I think it's because we were in this venue, and as I mentioned last week, it's kind of got a production setup already in place because it is actually a nightclub. So
yeah, but they were there last year, right? And
yeah.
It didn't look that good. Like, did they buy a gigantic Tron or something, do you think?
It looked like maybe, like I said, like the fans were kind of blocking that last year too as well, so we didn't really get to see it fully on TV, but it did look like they invested in maybe some more, LED screens.
It looked absolutely enormous. So really quick about Jordynne. I mean, this is kind of a spoiler, but also it's news. Because everyone said, a bunch of writers said, she's going somewhere, or, she's taking time off, or blah, blah, blah. Well, she appears at tapings, and that's all I'm going to say. So, Yeah, you're a bunch of idiots. And speaking of idiots, it's time for Dummy of the Week. And this week, wait. Thanks, Eli. Always going to miss him. And this week it goes to Steel City Sun / Dark Order 27 on Twitter. Jesus, what a name. So he said something. He says, and that's why your prime of your career is being spent in Impact, and his was in WWE. You ain't in the same league as Milan Miracle, brother. Now that is Santino. To be fair, I mean, he's not in the same league as Milan Miracle, but like, don't be a dick and bash whatever. So he quotes it. Angels, sorry, this is about Angels, who quotes it saying, I'm 25, not even close to my prime, brother, which made me surprised. I didn't know this dude was 25. Holy shit. Also, Impact is where I chose to be and has one of the best rosters in the world right now. How do you like that, Gary?
Oh, I like it. Pretty cool. I too have a dummy of the week, and this is baseball related.
Sure.
My dummy of the week, or dummies of the week, has to go to the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. They came into town in Cincinnati, my team. They had the best record of baseball, and they got destroyed the other night, 8-1. So it just shows anybody can beat you in baseball on a given night.
Well, I totally agree with that one. I actually bet on that and lost it. So let me quickly read a few comments from the Impact Wrestling group. This is from Leonis Gurskis. NWA and Corgan shat the bed when they mishandled Aldis and went with Tyrus as their champ. Aldis brought some prestige back to the organization. Glad to see him back in Impact. Alan Schrage, hope I'm not butchering that. Really liked the women's match. Mentioned while it was happening, he had no problem with either of the women winning. Totally agreed with that. Loved the part with Alicia. Sorry. Loved the what the hell match with Alicia? Oh, whatever. That was awesome, except for Alicia eating the cake.
He might be referring to her maybe accompanying Eddie to the ring.
Yeah, when she took the sick super kick. I mean, I loved the super kick. I mean, he didn't like it, but I mean, you know what I mean? He didn't like it as a fan. I loved it as like how good she did it. He also mentioned that he loves what they've done with PCO, the look, his theme, everything. And again, he mentioned Alicia Edwards is really hot and underused. And like, this is something I've been saying. Like, she's there. Use her. And they're finally doing it. I'm not going to spoil anything, but she actually is a regular match at the tapings. And I mentioned like finally Sammy at one point, like when he turned.
Oh, yeah.
So Harry Siberium, good dude. He hooks up the groups. And he said, definitely about time. Alan, about time is right. And I love the Cobra for the win. I mean, Sammy turn, that was huge. I mean, I feel like that was a huge part of maybe even like the future of Impact if he does stick around. I mean, I've heard some rumors and whatever else. But like, that's a main event guy. Magnus, Aldis, whatever you want to call him, is a main event guy. So like, that's kind of huge. And here's one more for another. I'll make this a question. I think this is from Harry. Am I the only one that gets a heel vibe from Joe Hendry? I'll let you take that one.
Oh, me? Okay. Yeah, I can't. I mean, I get a heel vibe, but I kind of get a tweener at the same time. Just because, like, usually, tweeners, at least they have a fan base behind them, and like a heel usually has that go away heat. Yes. And thus far, Hendry hasn't. I do know he does probably have like people that really don't like that gimmick, because I know there are some people that don't like a singing gimmick, but per se, I'd honestly say he's kind of in between. But he's kind of feels like he's kind of swaying to the dark side, if you will, Jay.
Yeah, I would actually say that during this, or maybe during this show, during Rebellion, that he maybe did. Hang on, I have this sound effect that I really wanted to use. Yeah, I don't know what the hell that was. So, damn it, I lost myself. God, son of a, look what I do when I'm trying to. All right. Oh, yeah, Joe Hendry. I mean, he looked incredible with, like you mentioned it before we started taping, hit the power he had during that match. So
yeah, Angels and Diener, and he picked them up like they were nothing.
Yeah, and he did something before that, like right before that, and I was like, holy shit, this dude's powerful. And then he did that, and I was like, what? So I mean, I don't know. He's impressed me a lot more. He could be more than just like a comedy kind of guy if he ever drops that stuff and like I don't know, maybe just becomes like totally heel and shuts up and just becomes a really good wrestler. I don't know.
What I'm afraid of with his style of wrestling, though, I feel like he might be one step or two away from possibly pulling a tricep or something, kind of like Josh, because I kind of feel like he does that multi-man lift a little too often. I mean, I know that's his thing. I'm concerned for the well-being of him going forward because, as well as I do, if you miss time picking somebody up, you could, tear something. So,
Oh, I don't know as well as you do, so don't think you know things that you don't. But to the show, Rebellion. Now, really quick, I'm going to give it a straight 9. Gary, what do you got?
I'm going to go slightly less only because I'm going to go 8.6. I kind of go that way because I kind of felt like the crowd wasn't always hot through the night. Not like crowd wasn't quite like it is in Atlanta or Vegas at times.
Yeah.
There's just some things that like I didn't actually see the pre-show, but I didn't really like the booking of the two matches because my concern is to just get it down to one. The two were just too much, to try and get everything in. And like me and Jay were saying, why not just go with the Coven and the Death Dolls to just kind of represent, the knockouts? Because it is actually for something, whereas Heath and Rhino versus Champagne Singh and Shira really isn't for much, or more or less just kind of like who's the basement team of the tag team division, really.
Yeah, that's just, it's totally unmemorable. There's no reason for it. That could have been, I don't know,
Yeah,
maybe a dark match they tape for Impact or something later down the line, or like one of those shows they need. I don't know, BTI.
What I don't like about it is they had just fought each other at BTI, I think, the week before.
That's what I mean. It's a BTI match, like whatever. Yeah. We talked about the show. We would have mentioned the pre-show because I don't know. It was so different than the main show, but we had to mention the Knockouts tag match with the Coven defeating the Death Dolls, and gotta say, ever since she came at me on Twitter, Rosemary gets pinned a lot.
Oh, she ate the pin in this one?
Yeah, Havoc was
oh shit! I did hear the Coven look really good in Victory though.
Havoc got knocked down the apron or something. Yeah, they did, but I know it's a stupid thing about Rosemary. I don't really care, but I'm just so tired of that Death Dolls. I mean, unless it's selling great merch, which hey, if it is, then great, keep it going. But like, I hate seeing Havoc like that, and she barely got a reaction. And it's Havoc, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like if it's the monster Havoc doing these things, she would get a huge reaction.
Oh yeah, well, I do like the backstage stuff they've been doing with Rosemary and Havoc or Jessica, just because like it's that cinematic stuff, but like they're not doing it enough. Like I do know they've been in the past they used to do it like weekly to kind of build you up for the
If you want to make them cinematic, wouldn't friggin' evil Havoc and evil Rosemary be like the best cinematic thing?
Yeah, and
like a fucking horror movie, like you like.
Yeah, they're like turn it off and on. You know what I mean? You can't. You know what I mean? You got to do this like nearly every week to.
Oh, holy shit! You know who they need?
Who's
that? My God, they need one of your director friends. Maybe you can throw their name out there and Impact and get in touch with them.
I don't know. I have a slew of them. Brad Twigg, he's done a lot of Wild Eye releasing horror films. You got what's his name?
That would be so sick.
Caught me on the bus under the bus here, Jay.
That's right. You think about it while I jump on to
Troy Escamilla. That's who.
That'd be sick if one of your people actually got the. One of our fans who come from Gary's fans. He has his own channel, if you don't know, Gary's Movie Emporium, which he's got going again. But that's enough promotion. Let's get to the Ultimate X match that started the show. Again, I think last week I loved how they opened Impact or whatever the hell it was, but this was the perfect way to open the show for me. Maybe too good with the Ultimate X, because I feel like that's like I don't know, kind of near like a main event style match, but this was just awesome. And um, Ace and Bay retained. I mean, I loved everything about it. I said, I hope they just fight forever, these two, on like a recent podcast. Like, if you don't have a better guys in the tag division, then just let them continue. Like, just keep them fighting. And I honestly think that's what they're going to be doing based on the ending of this match and what Ace said after the match. How, like, I mean, they're supposed to be heels or maybe they're turning, but he was like, listen, I got nothing but respect for those guys. Like, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I've seen people go as so far as to say it's the two best tag teams in Impact, but I dare say, in my opinion, probably two of the best tag teams in all of wrestling going at it for Ultimate X.
I think most people would actually agree with that. I mean, everyone loves Motor City Machine Guns. I don't care who the hell you are. Sorry, 99% of people, I would say, or at least like hardcore fans that know of them, like not just WWE, but little knock. I don't think Ultimate X was really used like incredibly well. I was kind of waiting for something ridiculous that didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get that too. I kind of like, I don't know, maybe it was a case of like the guys probably not focusing on it because it's not like a singles match. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like four guys going at it like for their own. You know what I mean? It's kind of a different vibe, but yeah, I totally see what you mean, because it was like it felt like they weren't going for the X enough, but
yeah, not a big deal though. And
totally not.
But I mean, I don't know. Maybe make it throw a. I'm a huge fan of the ladder matches, so I don't know. Maybe make it a ladder match or like TLC next time or something.
Yeah, that's a good idea. A ladder match. I'd love that.
Gotta love Steve Macklin, how he just bashed the shit out of Canada and talked about like his war history, and it was like, I don't know. I took it as like him like in total war mode and like kind of going too far, which I thought was like kind of interesting.
Well, I don't know about you, but I kind of get the vibe like Impact might be playing off the Bret Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin storyline, where like Canada, in the eyes of maybe, the way wrestling is in Impact, they're the face and he's the heel. But yeah. I don't know if you remember back so long ago that Stone Cold kind of was the heel in that Bret Hart matchup, and what happened is like he kind of won him over with the giving everyone the bird. And that's what Steve Macklin did at this pay-per-view. He flipped off the fan base, so yeah. I kind of feel like maybe he might go from heel to face before you know it.
I thought Macklin did an incredible job. We'll get to the main event later, but I talked on the latest podcast. Like, I was afraid, man. I was afraid like he would get humiliated by Kushida, because I just thought he was like, or maybe he is like levels ahead of him, but he just did a great job, and the match was set up really nice with Kushida's speed and his power. But whatever, we'll get to that. So next up was the what the hell was the name of this match? Well, there was no name. Team Santino versus The Design. How's that for a name? And this was more fun than I thought. I thought this was going to be like a bathroom break, but this was pretty fun.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I don't know. I thought Dirty Dangle looked like really impressive too, because he was actually hitting all of his moves, and I kind of feel like he's kind of getting out of that jobber persona.
Yeah, he's one of those guys we keep talking about. Like he's been solid, like everything he's been doing,
and he's over. I don't know.
Maybe they're noticing and like going with that, which would be nice. So yeah, like
that following, kind of like when he was in NXT. Everybody doing that kind of like that Disco Inferno kind of thing with Disco Fever kind of thing going on, which is pretty cool to see.
Yeah, but I think the story of this match was Sami Callihan, who just ditched The Design finally, and I've been really waiting for that. I think you have been too. We just wanted something to happen, and this puts Sami back. Like, I don't know, I'm sure he'll feud with them for a while, but like Sami's a main event guy, and that's where he belongs if he's going to be sticking around. So I love seeing that. I was really getting tired. No offense, I love Diener. I like the Design. They need some wins, but whatever.
My problem with the Design is they're not go for the blood kind of mad. Like, Sami's been kind of like costing them things, but I don't know why we haven't been seeing things like where they've been making them pay for it, and you know what I mean? Kind of like at least make it, kind of put the design with a storyline of sorts, and
I mean,
they
it
kind
might.
of abandoned that.
I mean, it might be a ridiculously long storyline where
Yeah,
it's about Diener can't lead. Like, if they want to go that way, then that works. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, Sammy's a leader. Like, he would make people, like, eat people or whatever. Like, that's how crazy Sammy was. But like,
Did
that
you
wasn't the case.
did you catch that with Joe Hendry when he was copying Diener with the fingers, and he goes, "Excellent."
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's another one. Hendry's another one who I thought would be like, oh, Joe Hendry came, but he's been very entertaining and solid champ. So, good match, good enough match there, fun. And then came a match I loved. I'm sure you did, just because PCO was in it.
Yeah,
PCO, the casket match. I don't know if the casket was, again, I think it was similar to the other one. I don't know if it should have been a casket match, but I loved it.
oh yeah. Well, I think they have listened to us somewhat about making his music a little bit more sinister. I know it kind of has that. I don't like that black and white Frankenstein feel when he comes to the ring. Like it all goes black and white. It kind of
Yeah,
felt like old WCW, the way Impact's been presenting PCO in these
yeah.
like last rites matches and casket matches and whatever, or Full Metal Mayhem, whatever they stick him in.
Yeah, that's fair. But I mean, PCO is fun as hell. I love this feud. I'm not a fan of long feuds, but this is a really fun feud. And Alicia took an amazing super kick, or at least it looks that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I didn't see it. I'm sure you.
Oh yeah, I was totally surprised that PCO got the win, because I kind of thought Eddie might get the one upsmanship, just to kind of have him be a threat for the world championship, but PCO.
Yeah. Well, I mean, getting to, well, no, we can't get to that. But well, there was a spoiler out there, and maybe we'll get to that later. Whatever. Let's move on. Sorry, I just read
And I
spoilers.
do believe that puts a nail in the feud, I guess, from what they were presenting it. Like, that was it between Eddie and PCO. Did you get that vibe?
I mean, I could see it going on just because I feel like Eddie had to get a win, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I could see Eddie like attacking him like
Yeah, that's true.
when he thinks it's over, when PCO thinks it's over. But yeah, we'll see.
But
I
it
think
could be an ongoing thing, like months down the road too, because Impact does
yeah,
that.
definitely. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely. That's what I mean with the Sammy thing. Like he might point to like, you can't lead, and then he shows like a video of everything that's happened in the last 6 months and whatever. So yeah, that was cool. Little mistake backstage. Trey Miguel interview with
you're referring to the interview
with no sound.
Yeah, I thought it was just me at first.
I mean, it's an Impact special. They got to have at least one of those.
Did you see Gia's face when she was doing the interview? She looked a little ticked off. I noticed she looked down at the wire.
I guess maybe she realized what was happening.
Yeah, she was, damn man, I'm missing all this. She was
Okay.
just pretty funny. She did a good job of keeping it professional, as she always does.
Yeah, she's great. So I mean, then it was the X Division match. Like, I don't know. Like, I was looking at people's reviews, and I don't know what the hell, like, why certain people gave it like a 7.5, or I don't know. I saw a 7, and like the highest I saw was like an 8. And all right, so here's the X Division match: Trey versus Gresham versus Bailey. I mean, is there anyone who didn't think this was a good match? I doubt it.
I totally loved it, but the only qualm I would have about it is it just kind of felt like Gresham and Mike Bailey kept teaming up against Trey. You know what I mean?
I did like. I mean,
advantage. You know what I mean?
I liked that until Trey won. I thought it was time for Trey to. Sorry, there's actually a note. I have 411 up on the side here, just so I keep track of the matches. And Cook mentioned, well, you need one long reigning champion if you're a wrestling company, and good point. Good point there. So, yeah, I take it back.
Someone was saying that they think Impact is setting Trey up for a very long run as X Division champion.
Could be. I just absolutely hate the goddamn
long
the spray paint.
Oh, yeah.
He's Trey Miguel. Let him just be cool, Trey Miguel.
Yeah, and like I don't think anybody did a spray paint to the belt better than Hulk Hogan with
Yeah,
NWA.
no one, no one's gonna outdo this. I mean, it was Sarai is doing this. I don't know if you knew that, but her group is doing it in AEW, and like nobody cares.
I wasn't aware.
Like nobody gives a shit like about that part. But whatever. So now it's hardcore war time, and I was afraid this was gonna be a goddamn nightmare, but it was okay. Some points were even fun. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of it was fun with the knockouts. I mean, pretty much everything. And with Kelly was the highlight of the match for
Oh,
me.
with the staple gun, like to the nads,
And her own, I think to her own head, right?
yeah, she did it to herself, and then she went up to the ropes and was kind of like smirking and kind of going.
And then I think to Moose's junk.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I gotta say, I have to say, because I mean they're pretty big on this kind of thing. But what if it was the other way around?
Yeah.
What if Moose did that to a female's junk? They wouldn't get destroyed for that. I don't know. Whatever. Also kind of weird. Like Tommy Dreamer got a. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but he hit like a sick a pile driver on Masha, I believe.
Oh yeah, yeah. Is a Cactus Driver 69 or something?
Like to me, it's like I don't know. Like it's a woman and like she's small and it's like that's supposed to be like the end and like that's
Yeah, yeah.
Dreamer winning. Like
things I was kind of I was kind of I don't know what you want to call it, kind of awkward moments, like kind of like when Moose or somebody would go for a pin on like one of the girls and his face would kind of be in their crotch area.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of cringy for me a little bit. I mean, it was a fun match and it was good to see the women shine.
But I don't know if you saw the.
I don't like about intergender is because of that.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the Justice League movie, but there was a point where the Flash like fell right on Wonder Woman, and like his face was like right in her rack, and like they made like it was like it reminded me like just like that when they're doing it, and it was like a bad joke, and everyone hated it so much, like it was like oh you're above that whatever, but whatever, just it reminded me of that. So the referees, who I'm pretty sure did not hold the ladder for Bully, held it for Dreamer.
Yeah, they totally did because
and they all attacked him, right?
Yeah, Bully got mad because they wouldn't hold it. He went to grab one of the referees, so then they all gang tackled him and started beating him. That was pretty funny, though.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I mean, but the whole ladder thing, like, it's basically about AEW. Like, I don't know if you even know that or if like fans realize it, but like that's an AEW thing. Like,
oh, the ladder.
They kind of got abused because like there was some big spot and like they got caught like the God, I keep saying like I'm a goddamn 16-year-old, but whatever. But then they got caught, like, Jesus, again. Whatever. I can't talk. I'm just gonna keep saying it. So they got caught holding the, I'm just blanking on everything now.
Holding the ladder for Dreamer.
Yes. AEW people got caught holding the ladder for whoever the hell it was, some wrestler. So it became a joke. So that's what bothers me. Like, it's such a small, stupid joke that no one even, like, I'm explaining it, and I don't remember.
They kind of borrowed from AEW or stole.
It's like so like when Bully did it on that little table recently on Impact, like that was him, like, like he made a big thing about it on Twitter and like shit on AEW. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you said, like that's so little because like
exactly.
I don't watch that product, but like thanks to you, you hear things, or you might, you're always looking for news for your page and your groups and stuff, and you see that stuff, and it's good that you point that out because I would have never guessed in 1,000 years. That's
what I mean. Like, you're a friggin' huge Impact fan. Like, they shouldn't be doing things that you have to watch AEW to understand. But no big deal. Nick Aldis is here, man. I can never imagine a world if I would be happy to say those words and see Nick Aldis. But like, again, we've been talking, like, I think I just said last week, they need like a Storm kind of guy.
Yeah, and he totally is. He could be a huge, he's a huge mouthpiece when it comes to like promotion, and and like, I mean, man looks $1,000 with his neat looking suit. And,
sorry, I meant James Storm, not Lance Storm.
Yeah, I know.
As in like, as in the TNA kind of like, whatever. But yeah, he did. I mean, and he was, if you missed it, he was incredible in NWA. He nailed the character. He
And
was
how great was he?
Whoa.
And how great was he on commentary?
Yeah, he just became very good at talking.
Oh yeah, totally. And I thought I kind of felt like Tom Hannafan and Matthew Raywalt were kind of shocked that maybe he was there. Like it was a total surprise thing because they looked legitimately surprised. I thought.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. And now I'm starting to hear my echo. Do you hear that?
No, I don't hear it right now, but I heard it go kind of crazy a little while ago. But we apologize for audio issues.
Might have to speed up on the ending here then. So I loved the Kushida and Matt. Well, I didn't love it, but I thought it was much better than I thought it would be. The Kushida Macklin match.
Oh yeah, totally. I didn't think. I think Macklin used his like a lot of his brain here for this match because it seemed like the entire match he was kind of like on the defensive against Kushida because he didn't have any answers for his what do they call it, the hoverboard lock and things like that. He couldn't keep up with him, but then he'd do things like roll out of the ring when he'd be close to a pinfall or he'd take it to the outside and he'd use like I think he kind of like suckered Kushida in and then they like both went running into the table. Do you remember that part?
Yeah. See, I was thinking like maybe it was like a rope-a-dope kind of thing, or it actually made me think of him in the military, like escaping, like well, I'm not saying military guys escape, but you know what I mean, like instead of like you can't always fight, so you have to like win in other ways, and like that's kind of like what you were saying, like getting out of things and like just kind of waiting for the right time, and he hit his move and got the win and new champ.
And totally, I think Kushida gave up too much size to Macklin. I think that was the difference in this match.
Yeah, I do wish he was booked stronger coming in, but life isn't perfect. And he did a really good job, like on the mic, getting some heat even before the match, and great job. And you come back and
cool. What capped off the end of the match with Macklin standing in the ring, demanding that Scott D'Amore hand him the title and not the referee.
Oh, yeah. Very heelish. Loved it. And then, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like Scott is just like, I understand you got to be, I don't know. Is it wrong to say he shouldn't be such a dick to heels?
Yeah, I don't know if he knows. I don't know. I don't know if he's trying to be that cool general manager or whatever that's trying to, play to the fan base, and he's trying to look like, the savior to them a little bit. But then, like, you kind of see hints of like he's stacking the deck, like he's not really on a fair, shake with Macklin because he made him kind of go through things to get where he did. You know what I mean?
This is another one of those things like they can pull out like in a year from now and be like, Scott has been evil this whole time and he's been setting up, he protected Josh. And
yeah, that would be a hell of a storyline. And I could honestly see that, like down the road. Like, I mean, because like he kind of has that kind of like a Bobby Heenan to him a little bit. Like, like he's really intelligent on what he does in wrestling, but then he could be that kind of like that little weasel that
and better than me because to the old days. But wasn't he a heel?
Oh yeah, he totally was with Team Canada.
That's what I mean. He could. It's like it's perfect. It's like he could literally bring Team Canada back with all the Canadians they got.
Yeah, I wouldn't even mind seeing him bring back the hockey stick or whatever to be even more heelish.
Yeah, and now the match, for me, the match of the night, and I guess I don't know. Is this the third time they fought? Where I think the first time was like a little not. I think I was expecting like amazing, and it was like very good, and I was like let down. But then the next match was absolutely incredible, and then this one was absolutely incredible. Like I really think they're two of the best anywhere. And they have such good chemistry and like the power and like the speed. It's just like I don't know who can like even be in a match with these two. Like I don't think Mickey can even hang with them. I think Mickey getting out of there was probably for the best.
Oh, definitely. I felt the very. I don't know if you remember back in the day when Trish Stratus and Lita always had them serious rivalries, like, one would beat the other. No different here with Jordynne Grace and Deonna Purrazzo, and that's a huge compliment because those two ladies up north are Hall of Famers.
Oh yeah, and yeah, seriously. I mean, I've been watching a lot of WWE. They have some of their, like their women are really, really, really good. I mean, Charlotte Flair, I'll put up there with goddamn anyone. But whatever, this isn't WWE stuff, and we're not talking about that. But we do have. Hang on, I'm hearing something slowly in the back.
You've got mail.
Oh, it's been a while. It has been a while, but the mailbag is back. This should be interesting. All right. Hey, baby, when you coming back over? JB can't even make it out of the basement. Oh, shit. Okay, that was a personal message, so I don't understand why this is so hard. All you have to do is leave a comment on YouTube or on any of our podcast apps, even in any of our social media posts, and we will take the question. That was sent somewhere wrong, and I apologize to listeners for that. Back to the show. Well, we did the women's main event. Is there anything left of the show? Did we miss anything? Nick Aldis was shockingly exciting. Okay, here's an interesting question. Mickie James isn't like badly injured.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that, and her husband just came to Impact.
Yeah.
And very similarly, a lot of people thought Jordan would be leaving, and I was like, her husband just came to Impact. Like, I think that's a big part of it. Plus, it's Jordan. I don't know. I just couldn't picture her anywhere else. I think she really loves Impact and the people and wherever else. Well, but sorry, but my point was Aldis returned, and now Mickey's gone. So you think Mickey's really gone, or she'll be back in a little?
That I'm not sure of, but I did hear a bit of a rumbling. I guess it was on Twitter and some other things about Jonathan Gresham. When he came down to the ring at the pay-per-view, he wasn't wearing the octopus getup, and some people were trying to connect that to when he was with the AEW. That he didn't when he lost. I guess it was like the next week or day or whatever. He didn't wear it because he was disgruntled. Now they're trying to play, stack the deck, trying to say that he's not happy in Impact, and I think that's just too much reading into it.
Yeah, that's a bit much. I really doubt he has I'm not happy gear.
Yeah.
Who the hell knows? Got to throw in right before we close off. I was going to go through spoilers, but I don't think anybody wants those, and you can find them. We don't need to read them down like idiots. But one major spoiler, so get the hell out of here if you don't want to hear it. Spoilers coming. Get the hell out of here, you idiots. Sorry, you're not idiots. You just don't like spoilers. You're totally cool. Okay, so the main event for the upcoming show. Do you know the name of this one, Gary? Under Siege, I think.
Oh yeah, that's let's see. Let me check my calendar. I believe it is May. See, May 26th, I believe, and we have I guess it's 2 weeks of tapings the next night.
And how about PCO, our boy, getting a world title opportunity?
Oh, that's awesome. Well deserved.
God, we've been loving this guy for how long? And seriously, I mean, I doubt it. This is where I think we could talk about it now, but I think Eddie's going to pop in and ruin that shit for him.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for PCO too, because like Macklin just winning, it's unlikely he's going to lose the title this fast. Because I kind of feel like he's kind of like a transitional champion until we get something more fruitful for like the main event scene. And I can see Macklin holding on to it for like 3, 4, or 5 months, or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks, but. What are you going to do? So I also saw a tweet that I just wanted to read quick from Chris Padbury. Watching Impact Rebellion. Reached Hardcore War. Can I just say I effing love Kelly Kelly. I feel like a lot of fans are, with that, and I'd like to see her pushed more, and I think you would too.
Oh, definitely. I thought she, held her own in that little bit of a rivalry for the, past few episodes, like going into the pay-per-view, Kelly and Masha,
And it's not like they're killing it with tag teams, so why not just
Maybe
stick
if
her with?
maybe if one can't beat the other, why not have them be a tag team?
Exactly. Oh, her and Mashi is saying.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that'd be a badass tag team.
You know what I mean?
Um,
It'd be depth in the knockouts division, tag team division as well.
yeah. Also, a really cool photo from the show. If you check out Lou D'Angeli's Twitter, I think it's L D'Angeli, great friend of mine. And he actually showed, I don't know where I got this from, but it's a VIP picture. I'm going to actually stick it onto the thing if you're watching this on YouTube with a bunch of other pictures. We'll see. All right. I think that's about it. Gary, you got anything else?
Yeah, I do have one or two more things.
Got
like
some kind of movie?
No, this is Joe Doring related. Apparently, he had a birthday a couple days ago, and he just turned 41.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and we're pulling for you, Joe, by the way, here on the channel.
Always.
And I don't know if it was ever announced because I think we last week when we were gonna do a show, I think this took place. Impact apparently started a partnership with Premier Streaming Network, which is co-owned by Freddie Prinze Jr. So,
And did you see who quickly followed?
No.
MLW.
Oh, did they?
Yes.
What do you think that means, Jay?
I don't know. but
sweet show going forward or something?
Kind of forgot about that. I'm really not sure what
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, is it just a what is it exactly? It's just a production kind of company?
It's a streaming service. It's much like Tubi and Pluto and whatnot.
Yeah, so I guess it's just extra content or whatever. I don't know.
And then I do have one last thing too. I don't know if anyone noticed at the pay-per-view. Tom Hannafan and Matthew Raywalt were sitting at ringside at commentary, and they whipped out a couple, 2 or 3 Slam Buddies that are now available at shopimpact.com. They currently have Chris Bay, Santino Marella, and Josh Alexander. I don't know if they're going to be adding to that.
That is really interesting and good timing because I wanted to mention how they have been kind of lacking when it comes to merch.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I noticed today they don't have a goddamn, what the hell is it called? Shop Impact on Facebook, and their one on Twitter barely does anything.
Oh, wow.
Like, I swear, it gets me frustrated because, like, you don't even have to just do new shirts. You know what I mean? Like,
and I mean, that's the whole thing of the game. We're looking for revenue.
Seriously, just keep tweeting about random shirts and merch and shit. People will friggin', even if you sell one a day based on the tweets and whatever, like, it didn't take anything to do it, but whatever. It was a good show, and I don't want to end this in a mean, angry way. So, hope everyone enjoyed, and don't forget to. Sorry, Gary, you still have.
I just got one last tidbit. I didn't know if anybody noticed too. They announced a bunch of dates as well.
Oh damn! Yeah, we should have got that earlier.
Yeah, May 16th is Under Siege, as we had said, and then June we're with Against All Odds on June 9th. July 15th we're Impact Slammiversary. And then they announced Multiverse United 2 on August 20th. And then the big one, I guess we're coming back to Toronto in August, right? The very venue we're at on this night for Emergence.
Now I have a question. As a movie fan, is it too soon for a sequel? I mean, it's been about 6 months.
Yeah, I thought that was very, I was like, how are you calling this too? Usually, sequels per se usually are that, they're usually around a year apart or maybe a couple years apart. I know back in the 80s when there was many sequels to Friday the 13th, they were having one almost every year. And then when it got to be, they were having one every 3 or 4 years. And then it got to go, by the wayside. And then we're now here stuck with, they don't have a movie since 2009. And we're looking at it was 14, 15 years, and they're finally talking about it. But that's because of a rights issue. But I don't mean to get into a tangent about horror films, but it totally is too soon for a sequel to Multiverse United.
And that's a little preview for Gary's Gary's Movie Emporium, which you should check out on YouTube. All right, that's about it. Right under 45 minutes.
Catch you next week, everybody.
Peace.